welcome to our studio. So, this is going to be the first of our real time paint with me series, and I was thinking on planning this paintings for a while, and finally I've gotten to it because I really want to do painting practice, and this is a good way to do that. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like this video, recommend to your friends. If you guys are interested in painting, just grab your brushes and paints and let's just start. So in today's video we're going to be painting this reference that I have saved in my Pinterest. I'll put a link down below so you guys can also check out other references that I have there and paint, because I think I really need to practice more. So we're just going to get to it. Okay, I have misplaced the paint photo now. Just hold on. Where did it go? I already started this video like 3 or 4 times and now I'm just going to go for it, not think about it too much. Here it is. Okay, so I have the reference photo here. Hope this is visible. So I am also going to be using these gouache paints that I unboxed earlier in a video. I'll link that above, but I haven't used them since. I haven't even tried those, so this is also trying these paints for the first time. So yeah, hopefully it's fun. These look like yum, but let's see how we make this work for us. So I'm just going to put the mixing palette here because I don't want to have this painting keep showing all the time. Also, I think I'll put a cloth over that so it doesn't look crazy. So I just have this fresh new rag here. I'll just put it down so I don't spoil the painting that I have already made. Okay, let's just start. So this video is going to be minimum editing, so I can make more of these in the future because editing takes so much time. Oh my god, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Usually when I'm painting I listen to music or something. It's hardly that I'm not listening to anything, so this is going to be fun. Also, don't mind the traffic that keeps on going outside. So let's just start. So this is the gouache palette from Hemi Paints, and before we start we're just going to spray some water on it to activate the color a little bit because they have dried out a little bit. If anybody doesn't know what gouache is a color medium that is the middle ground for acrylic paints and watercolors. So you can either dilute them and make them look like watercolors, or you can have them opaque as acrylic paints. So I'm also going to use these new brushes that I got. These are the mop brushes. I have never ever used mop brushes before, so I hope it is going to be visible the whole time. Okay, so the first thing always while painting what I do is paint the sky and the most furthest thing that we have on the reference. So this is almost white. I'm just going to get some white, dilute it a little bit. I don't want this dirty little thing here. I might add like a bit of a yellow because there's like sun over there and all, and I think it will also give like a bit of depth rather than having a white background. So you just like go all over the place. I'm not using any tape or anything, it's just a lot of work. I hope I can like finish this painting in half an hour. Don't want like more time on this one. So let's just go. So I just did like a very light wash, so it is almost white and I can't do anything about the marks on this. Yeah, so I didn't like use the spray to set the painting, like the varnish spray on the previous one, so that is why this I have like this very bad habit of doing this. I don't set the sprays, set like my paintings, and that's why I mess up like most of the work. Mob brushes are supposed to be like good with watercolors, so I don't know how it's going to work, but the YouTubers that I watch online usually use like these brushes, so that's why I bought them. So the next thing that I always do is like have another light wash of green, because I just want to specify the areas that are going to be the grass and that are going to have the trees and this big huge tree that is there in the foreground. So I'm just going to use like a little bit of green in the same like manner that we had there, and I'm thinking of adding a bit of brown. I should use another brush for this thing. I will spoil my paints, man. So I just added a bit of a brown because I really want it to have more deeper shade of green. We're just getting like a light wash. You can see like the color is barely there. So what I'm going to do is have the paint go all over the place. So as you can see, I'm just going to mark the areas. So we're going to have like the horizon line here somewhere, because there are plants below that, and this is a good placement, I think so, because I have to add these trees and all. I'll just layer the picture over here so it's easier for you guys to understand. So I'm going to go with the same shade of green and just like give an outline of the tree that we're going to have here. The huge tree that is. So why I chose this reference was just because the tree had this highlight on this and I really wanted to paint that. Most of the times it's like this. There is like a specific feature in the picture that I see that I really want to paint it. And that's why we're painting this specific painting. So we're going to have a tree over here somewhere like this, and there is like this huge ass branch coming. Hopefully I can finish this soon enough. So it doesn't have to be like exactly how it looks, but it can have like, there are going to be a few trees here in the background. So as I mentioned, this is our final shade that is there in the background because it is almost white in our reference. Next thing that we did was map our foreground and have like a specific idea of how our painting is going to go. This is like very light shades, so with gouache it is easier to do this. I usually like wait for the paint to dry first, but since we're on a time crunch here, I am just going to go, but I think like it will probably mess it up. But let's see how it goes. So for this I'm just going to use a bit of a green. Now I'm not going to add a lot of water, so it is more opaque than that one. What I'm going to do is I made like this green color with what is this shade? Yellow ochre, and the green, so it is a bit more yellow green. So what we're going to do is have like the trees here, the background ones. This one is mostly like too green. Let's just see how it goes. So for this I'm just putting little dots here and there, so we get like a little bit, like not even dots, these are like big chunks, but it is just to specify our trees here. Birds are chirping like outside. Sometimes I just get irritated by the birds. I feel like this is not something I should say out loud. But yeah. So for the real-time paint with me, it was like you can grab your paints and like paint as I go. More like a live session, but I do the talking. So this was, I think it can be helpful to a few people who are willing to learn a little bit. I never like made these kinds of videos because I always feel like I also don't know enough, but I don't think like I'll ever feel that I know enough to tell somebody how they should be doing. So always take this with like a grain of salt. I messed up the color, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter, like, so what if the color doesn't match? Who is going to tell me like it is wrong? Because art is never wrong, man. So I'm just going to go over and draw these little branches. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to draw over it anyway. Just like a few of them that are visible. So we can add stuff later on. It is so calming, man. So calming. It's raining outside, by the way. Little bit of rain never hurt anyone. So now I have like a little darker shade of green, and I am just going to lay it all over this branch that we have made here, and I'm just going to cover the whole area up. Just add like these little tiny strokes of paint to give an illusion of the leaves. So the leaves, I just make like this stroke, like this thing. So I hope you guys can tell what I'm doing. So I'm just going as fast as I can so we can finish this up soon, because I think like to improve my artwork I can keep on giving myself a little less time to do everything, because I procrastinate, man. Everybody does, obviously, but sometimes I feel like I do it a lot. Most of the days it's like I always think that I should do this. Right now also I'm like thinking how I can make stuff better, how I can like make my time management skills better. But at the end, like, I do all this stuff, and then one day I'm just like, oh fuck, I don't want to do anything now. I just want to like watch some Netflix or read a book or just like lie down. That's that. I, these actually look like trees. I thought like they would not. Like how bad would it be like if I mess up right now? Like while painting, paint with me, telling people how to paint. Oh my god. Hopefully my AC is okay. Like it doesn't sound weird on my video later on and I don't mess it up. So I just added a little bit more green, just covering this whole shit up. Restricting myself not to speak anything out of place, but I always find it hard to control myself. So for this one tree, I think like there is a little more like brighter tree over there. I'm just going to go like with a little bit of yellow. Just I added a little bit too much water, man. It's okay. So the trees here are done almost, and we don't have to worry about it now. These trees look kind of good. I think so. At least they look good on video, so doesn't really matter, man. We're just practicing. Most of the times I feel like I am, when I look at a reference, I always wonder like if I will be able to paint it, but sometimes I like surprise myself and paint like amazing shit. Other days I'm like, oh my god, what even is going on here? So we're just doing some bold strokes here, not doing much, adding more green, more brown, making this very dirty green color. I don't know what you call this color, so we're just going to go with dirty green. So we've done and made these trees here. So the next thing that I'm going to do is actually paint this foreground, this part of the painting. And for this I was thinking, is this color okay? I think I'm going to like go over with this color, like the whole area, and then think about what I'm going to do next. So one more reason why I tend to like put a base color in the background, like basic shapes of the artwork, is because sometimes I miss out like some spots, so it doesn't look weird when the whole painting is done. And there are a few times when I can't go back and cover it up because of some reasons, or there is like another color that will get like desaturated or something if I go over with the color. So that's why I put like this background shade here. So I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit. So for the tree, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use like this very dark brown shade, put it here, diluting it a little bit because I just want it to be like runny a little more than how it looks right now. This is a good consistency, I think, for this shade. So I'm just going to add like big sweeps. So as you might have seen a few trees here and there in your life. So you guys see like the trees have these like bark things on them, and it is almost like lines and all. So for that is why I am going to make this tree in this the brush in this motion itself, so it resembles the bark. It doesn't have to look like the bark, but it should resemble it. So the tree is going over this line. I always feel like a painting should look like a painting and not like a photograph. I mean, it is amazing how people can paint. I wish I can paint like that. But even though like if I'm painting realism ever, I think my paintings will always look painterly. Like those painterly strokes, you can see like how the person created this. So one more benefit of the mop brush is it holds like a lot of paint. As you guys have seen, I have not went back in to get more paint on my brush. So I am just making the branches now. I don't even know how long this video is already gone up. I'm just covering up like this green shade that we have below this brown, even though it will not like stand out or anything, but we still need to do our best, man. Always do your best, because this is like the only time. I don't know what I'm saying, man. I don't know why I'm saying man also. It's so pressuring, like filming a video and talking while painting. This is actually not a voiceover, I'm talking right now. So don't mind me if I say like some weird shit. I'm just making like these branches. So I'm using the tip of the brush to make these. Nothing so complicated, even though I'm not able to make like very tiny strokes. Don't really matter, man. I swear if I say man one more time, I'm going to snap. Okay, I think this is enough. It will be a little too much if I go overboard now. So the tree is almost done. To add a little bit of depth, I'm going to add some green to the bark of the tree. Just clean my brush, add a bit of green. I added a bit too much here, and just go over this. So this looks like there is some overgrowth of green on this tree too, as it have aged. Gouache also has like a bit of a problem, because sometimes when I add like a bit too much water, it just comes off the paper. I mean, I know I should wait for the paint to dry. I'm just like a bit in a hurry, man. Oh my god. I think the rest of the video is going to be just like me going man, and then just, oh my god, why did I say that? So we're going to do this to add a bit of a depth to the tree. As the source of the light in this painting is behind the tree, so this part is mostly dark, and we're just going to cover it up like that so it doesn't look like we've done a lot of work. Paintings should look like, oh my god, this is easy, even though it is not easy. By the way guys, all of you guys who are watching here, let me just talk to you once. Tell me, are you guys following me on Instagram? If you're not, just go and follow, man, because it is a bit, it gets like a bit demotivating for me to create stuff, even though I just like never am going to give up. But it is great like if people see what you're doing. So I just made this tree, added some greens, made it look all fancy. I'm not going to do like a lot here because the branches are very thin and I think I'll mess it up if I do that. So I just added some depth to the tree. We're going to add the highlights at the end, don't worry about it. Just have to add a branch here that I'm seeing. Most of the times I miss out stuff, so I just added one branch here. Clean my brush. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, we have this part of the painting is dried up. Also there is like a bit of purple here. I'm just going to paint that later on. Don't want to mess up my painting. So we're going to make like little strokes like this with the paint that we have here, already mixed paint that we have here, the green and the brown. Going to add a bit more green to that. The green that I'm adding like is very bright. It's not even usually the green that I use. I actually like painting with minimum number of paints. So many colors like confuse me sometimes. I like mixing my own paint and it is fun like that. So as you guys can see the painting here, there are like a few dark spots in the foreground. It's not the darkest point of the whole painting, but there are parts that are darker than the others. So we're just going to add like some grass here. So as you guys can see, earlier I held my brush from the back to make the bigger strokes, and if I want to go into a little bit of a detail, I hold the brush closer to the tip. So I am just not going to go in a lot of detail, just going to add bigger strokes so we can finish it soon enough. We just want to learn how the light is coming and how we're going to do this painting and make this reference. Even though the paint that I'm using here, the color that I'm using here is not going to be our darkest shade here, we're still going to add some strokes of it in the lighter part and some of it on the darker side so we can distinguish the areas. Next I'm using a green here with a bit of an orange because I want this color to be desaturated. Green is red, man. Okay, red, sorry. So when you mix green and red you get like this brown, but if you mix it in proper quantities it will make a very desaturated green. That is what we're looking for. You can also add like brown directly. I don't like to use black, like not directly, at least. If I have to, it will be like very carefully added because most of the time, like as a kid also, I messed up paintings because I added too much black, so I stopped using that. So I'm just going to add this green that is more of a shade that we were looking for. Adding a bit of a brown here to make even a deeper shade of green. I don't know why my fingers are getting this weird thing here. So I'm just going to add this push that is there, just going over this like this. Nothing too difficult, right? Not until now, I guess. If like you guys have like any issue while painting or anything, you can just like send me a message. I'll probably like take some time because most of the times I forget to check my messages, but I will reply. So I am adding this color, making it more vibrant, as I add like the color directly, did not add any other shades in this one. So now we're just going to cover this whole place. Sure, the shades may look similar, but they aren't. When you finish the whole artwork, you will understand what I'm saying. We're just going to cover up the whole painting like this, like the bottom part where we have the overgrowth. So we have covered up the whole space. I'm just going to add a bit of yellow, like lemon yellow. The color is dried up. So by adding lemon yellow, we created like this very vibrant green. That is not the first choice ever, but we want to create these stems, little stems that are here that seems to have hit the sunlight. Never go like directly to the shade that is in the painting, because I just always like to create a bit of a depth by going like shade by shade, and it looks more realistic like that I think so. We're just making like these tiny strokes. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just practicing. Doesn't matter how it looks. This is like not even why I'm saying. I'm just saying this to myself too. So I feel a bit more relaxed while painting this. So also we're going to add like these little bigger strokes here that are more fine than the ones that were below. Keep on adding brown here. Bring it to the side. Make it a bit darker in between some places it is light, so we can create a bit of a depth. As you guys can see, I'm just using like this single paintbrush that is very thick. You can say I'm lazy to change brushes. I will only change the brush if I have to make like outlines on anything or like very thin dots. So I'll just switch to a fine liner. Otherwise, I'm just always using single paintbrush. So you guys will see how this is coming out together. It looks like there is overgrowth here. Did we make any perfect stretches or anything? No. It just needs to look like a painting. I think I will get tired doing this. It's so much work. I don't even know how this video is going to turn out. I am so worried. Also, can you guys let me know in the comments like if you feel it is good to have the camera above me like this one, like the overhead shots, because otherwise it is a bit difficult to keep changing camera angles. So now I'm just going to add like this very bright green here because there is sunlight hitting this place and we want it to look like that. I'm not even making like good beautiful strokes, I'm just throwing it on there. It has been 46 minutes. Oh my god, I need to finish it. I thought I would be able to do this in half an hour. How stupid of me. I always overestimate myself. But now we are almost at the end. So now that I'm adding a bit more white to our white and our yellow and green mixture on the places that the light is hitting. We're not making like any distinct shades because we're going to add the flowers on this later on and it is going to get covered up anyway. So what I'm going to do next is make these tree branches and tree leaves that are above here. I'm just going to add some strokes. A bit faster. I'm using the leftover paint from the below thing. I'm just going to cover up the leaf parts and then add little strokes of the leaves. I actually could have finished it earlier, but I think I need a bit more practice to understand how to speak and explain what I'm doing and paint faster. Sorry if I was just mumbling, but I think we are almost, I think it's looking good. Looks good to me. I don't care about what anybody else saying. Most of the time, like, people are like, you should have done that, you could do this like this and make it better. Of course I can make it better. Of course you can always do better than what you did last time. But oh, sorry, can't believe I said sorry to my sketchbook. So I'm just going to add bold strokes here because there are going to be leaves here. Next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to make like a very dark shade here of green, adding brown with green. Usually I don't make like dark shades of green like this, but I am liking it here. So I am just covering up this space, making it look like leaves. Random patterns. So we made leaves here, a bit too bright. And we're going to fix that. I think it looks great so far. Bit dark, but we'll fix it soon enough. I'm just adding some leaves here so it looks a bit defined. Just like tiny strokes, tiny strokes. This time I was like not so prepared for making this video, but for the next videos hopefully we'll talk about something important, something that is on my mind, and maybe you guys can relate to it. More like a talk and paint with me kind of stuff. We'll see. It looks great. So I think I should just stop here, not mess it up more. I am going to add some branches here again because it is looking a bit too green. Looks great now. So the next thing that we're going to do is make a very lighter shade of green here. Add a bit of a white to this green only, but we also want to add some yellow. Add some water, take the yellow here. So this is like a very warm shade of green that looks like it has been hit by sun. And we're going to make this tree here a bit more bright, like it is in a painting, in a photograph. Add a bit of leaves here that look like there is sun on them. Here, make like this part a bit bright too. Hit by the sun, hit in the face by the sun. Not a lot of them. but still. Adding brighter shades here, making it a bit bright here. Looks like there is sun here. So good. Doesn't have to go like everywhere. I think I'll have to add like a bit of white here and make it look like the rays are protruding out of this place. Like the sun is shining from that place. It looks like that. Last time I made a painting like this, it looked super weird. The next thing that I'm going to do is add the highlight on the tree that I was so excited about. For this, I am firstly going to add like a bit lighter green so it doesn't look super awkward when I add very bright shade here. This is just to soften the blow of the highlights. I don't know if others do this, but I like doing it. So our part here is very wet now, so we're just going to let that dry out. Till then we're going to add this purple shade. I'm just going to use the purple, not making purple right now. So to make it a bit dull, I'm going to add brown to it, so it becomes a bit of a mauve shade. Oh, it looks amazing, man. These paints actually feel like something you could eat. So for the purples, I am just adding the trees and the plants and the foliage as I keep seeing it. Adding little dots so it looks like flowers. These little purple plant shapes that are here in the background, more like there is purple in the shadows. I'm just dabbing it a little bit. I don't want it to look a bit too purple. To desaturate this purple, I am going to add orange. So here we have some parts that are a bit too purple, and we're going to add a few dots here and there. Doesn't really matter if it don't match our painting reference here. We're just going to go with the whites, I think so now. Add a big chunk of white here. Add some water, adding it to our purple. So now I'm just adding these tiny dots that are going to be our flowers. You were there for me through all the times I cried. I hope you guys don't mind me singing. Why is there so much noise outside? I was there for you, but then I lost my mind. I know that I messed up, I promise Ooh, I can make it right. So as you guys can see, I'm like adding the flowers, but I have my brush tilted like this, so it looks like this horizontal line that kind of looks like flowers. All of my paintings like kind of look like paintings, not really paintings. You should always have fun, man. I swear to God, if I say man one more time. I think this is enough purple. There is more white here. Cleaning my brush so I can take out white. Oh my god, this small brush has like so much water. It just like does this capillary action and the water goes on my hand and my hand keeps getting wet. So the next thing that I was thinking was adding the highlight that I like. I'm so excited for that. Should we wait till the end? Yeah, we should wait till the end, I think so. So before going to our best part, what I'm going to do is get some white. There is no place to put my white now. Just like clean this part. Okay, there is some place here. Putting my white here with some green, and we're putting the strokes where the sun is hitting, adding a bit yellow. Hopefully it doesn't look super weird. Too white. I think this is enough. I think I'll have to add some green to this because it is looking super awkward standing in the middle of this whole place. Looks good now. Also, I'm going to do green here because this is super purple. It looks awkward. Just fixing my mistakes as I go by. So I am using some more purple and making these little tiny strokes again here because we forgot to do the lighter shades of the stems before and we had to do it over the place. We messed up some parts. I think this is enough. Now we are just going on with our last color, that is white. Yeah, you guessed it. So for this white, to make the flowers here, I am going to add some purple. It is so light, even lighter than this one. But the thing that is different here is that I am not adding water to this. I just added like one tiny dip no more. So now we are making these flowers. So for these flowers I'm going to do like a bit more properly, so they don't, because this is like the last part of the painting, we are going to go into a bit of a detail now. Even though this is detail, but it is practice, so I'm not going to use a fine detail brush. Keep going as you keep proceeding to spaces. This part is still wet, so we're going to paint it later on. So the whole artwork is going to have like these tiny little dots that are our flowers. As you guys can see, like this is still not like pure white, and we haven't used a shade of black either. It's raining again. It stopped for a while earlier. What is the time? 4:30. Okay. We're just going as fast as I can, but I still want these tiny little dots, because if they don't look like dots, they will not look good. This is looking great, man. You can even make like the dots a bit bigger as you grow closer to your point of standing. I'm going to skip this part and do the dots here. Sorry people, our camera died. I don't know why my battery did that, but yeah, that happened. So as you guys can see in our reference, this part is a bit of a yellow orange, yellow white. So I am going to add some yellow to our white here. Make a very pale concussion of yellow and white, so it becomes nice and bright. It is a bit too yellow. I don't mind it, but I think it looks great. Wow. we'll have to wait a while. Now I am going to add like this highlight that we talked about, that we are too excited for. We're going to use the same yellow and white paint mixture and go over this line. It's not too straight, so we're not going to make it too fine. Just wiped off my brush, and I am thinking of making it a bit mixed with the tree that we had here. Next, I'm thinking of adding the white directly from our paint to the edge. But I think I'll have to wait again for this thing to dry out a little bit. It's almost done. I think it's done. I hope you guys enjoyed this artwork. I love this highlight here, even though it is not so defined, but I do like it.